Welcome back, you big beautiful nerds. My name is Ollie.
And I'm Jess.
And we are judging nerd culture. Culture? Culture. I said that weird.
We sure are.
We are judging nerd culture. And today we're going to be talking
judging nerd Kutcher.
Kutcher.
We only talk about Ashton Kutcher.
Except for today. Today's a special day because we're going to talk about Shang-Chi. And then next time we'll talk about Ashton Kutcher. Again. Yeah. But first, I think it's time to talk about some things we heard this week.
Okay. Also, let's be honest. This is a Brendan Fraser podcast.
This is a Brendan Fraser. Yo, Brendan Fraser's making a fucking comeback, and he deserves it. Anyways, so things I heard this week. The only thing I'm going to bring up is something that you told me 20 minutes ago. So there's a new game on Steam coming out tomorrow, I believe, called Time.
Tomorrow, as in Tuesday, September 7th.
That is correct. We are recording this at probably a different time. So when you listen to this, it's available on Steam.
Yeah.
Time Melters. It's a strategy, time controlling, period piece,
adventure,
tower defense, role playing, witch adventure. It's a lot of things, but it seems pretty neat. From what I can tell, the general premise, based on a quick 2-minute trailer a couple-minute trailer that it has, is that you are a person who is going to be burned at the stake for being a witch. But something happened, something strange and magical took you and sort of saved your life. And then hordes of monsters attacked the world. And somehow it became your fucking job to deal with it. And that's done through like a tower defense minigame where you set up your defenses and then you yourself as the witch play the actual field and try to kill as many of the monsters as you can. But you will die. And eventually you shift time back, rewatch your gameplay, it seemed like, and then decide where to add more things and decide where to jump back in and take control as a second witch, with your previous self also still being there. So I'm assuming you're supposed to play through the same map a few times.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty neat.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty cool too. That's why I was like, oh hey Allie, this thing's coming out. Take a look.
Yeah, it is a very strange mix of so many different kinds of games that I don't know how great it's going to be to play the first time, but I want to try.
I mean, parts of it just look pretty too.
Oh yeah, the trailer art was real, just colorful and vibrant. It has a very distinct art style.
Yeah.
Also, zombies, except you're a witch, and that's fucking cool.
Yeah. If we're talking about video games, I also, being a pretty big fan of Senua, found out, I'm sure it's, known to the people who are, I don't know, more observant or spend more time in that world, in the world of video games. But won't be coming out until 2023. Number 2. Game 2 will not be coming out until 2023. And that makes me incredibly sad.
That does fill me with a horrible sadness. I'm sorry. For you. Let's talk about something much more fun. Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Or, as most people will say, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. So, because Marvel does not like things to get too spoilery, so we're going to try to avoid too much spoilerificness.
Yeah, especially since it just came out.
And we don't want to spoil too much if you guys haven't seen it yet, because you should. But, general premise of this particular movie is child of a ancient warrior comes to America and then lives his life and eventually is pulled back into the life of kung fu and assassinations to save his sister and save his mother's ancestral home from his estranged father.
Yes, the best way to put it. Yeah, with a little magic sprinkled in.
Yeah. It's the best kind of magic too. It's that reminiscent of like old school kung fu movie magic where it's just like, where does that magic come from? Why are you floating while you kick? Does it matter? No, but it's great.
Like at one point, his mother, it's either his mother or his aunt. They're doing like, moves, and the wind and the leaves are just like floating around them, spinning around, and I'm just like, she's the Avatar, right?
Like, she's just fucking airbending this. It's so good. That's one thing I genuinely loved about this entire movie. I've told you this in the theater over there. I did not think the new generation of Marvel movies was actually going to be any good. Like, it did such a good job for 10 years setting up this whole thing, And then that ended. And sure, the shows had been pretty fun, but like, I wasn't sure if the next couple movies were gonna quite hit that that reflex of awesome. But this had a real sense of like awe and wonder. Like everything, it was genuinely felt kind of magical and interesting, and I wanted to learn more. Especially when Wong showed up. He was only there for a few minutes from
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, but dang it, I love Wong. So good. I want him to be in more movies. Yeah. Why doesn't he get his own fucking movie?
That's a good question.
But yeah, the atmosphere and the aesthetic and the general like hopeful nature almost of the movie is fantastic.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool. It was the best movie I've seen this year, probably. I know I've seen some good movies this year, but I don't know. This one was, it had like a little bit of comedy, had like actual heartfelt stuff, and it had a little bit of magic, some really cool creatures that I was so into. I was so into the weird creatures near the end of the movie. And yeah, I don't know. It was just really fun.
Mm-hmm. We also can't understate the actors and the characters. Amazing.
Yes. Oh god. Okay. So the movie Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, or is it just?
I think it's the Legend of the Ten Rings. Yes.
Yeah. All right. I got it.
It got me one.
So it over the weekend, this Labor Day weekend, it got $71.4 million at the box office, which is the second highest since quarantine or since COVID and everything. And
the first highest was obviously the new Fast and the Furious movie, right?
Who knows? And it is the second highest opening for any film released during a pandemic, and the highest of any film during Labor Day weekend.
Hell yeah. Apparently people just don't care about Labor Day movies.
Yeah, I mean...
Also, what a weird time to release it if you know that's a trend.
Yeah, I don't know. Internationally, it also got another $56 million in ticket sales. So, in total, for the whole weekend, $127.6 million.
Mm-hmm. With the way that this movie celebrates... I'm going to say Asian culture because I can't specify which ones are particularly prominent. I know that there is a good chunk where they actually go to China and do some stuff there. But I'm not particularly great at identifying Asian culture, so I wasn't going to be too specific. But there's such an integration, it's such a celebration of those cultures that this is going to do freaking great over there.
Well, yeah. I mean, even here in America, like, there are so many movies that have kind of, I don't know, not reached their potential where they could have had really great opportunities to have that representation, that Asian representation, or like, just to be respectful, and they didn't. Like, I skimmed, I know, but I did. I skimmed an article of Awkwafina, the one who plays the best friend / hopeful love interest. She plays Katie, who is really great. And I read an article about people were being a little spicy, a little frustrated about something that she had said about not wanting to take a role as an Asian person just to like play into stereotypes and like make her culture and her people like a character, because they're real people and not everybody in the Asian community has a really thick stereotypical accent. Some of them just have American accents because they're American, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, as a white person, when people are making fun of white people in TV, it's just, the redneck, yeehaw, America sort of thing. But, like, that doesn't get to me, because in so many other movies, we are the main characters. We are the heroes, we are Captain America. We are, the Iron Man. We're the big heads of, entertainment. And I think it's really cool that she is trying to make a difference, and that she, wants that representation. And I think this movie is so cool. And I think it, with, the whole cast basically being from Asian descent, is pretty awesome, because you don't see that a lot. Besides Crazy Rich Asians, this is, I think, one of the only, correct me if I'm wrong, or like, in anything that I've said has been offensive or anything, but I think this is like the second movie that has, like, in a very positive, respectful way, shown the Asian community and like given them the spotlight.
Yeah, at least specifically, American made.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
I know, but
it's an American movie.
Obviously, I just mean to say that, like, there's plenty of movies obviously that show representation of this and that, but like, it doesn't reach the Americans at large because it's not portrayed as like an American movie. Mm-hmm. Like the movie that a couple of years ago that was huge, Parasite. Mm-hmm. Like, it won awards for being the best fucking movie, but there was a lot of people who argued against it because they're like, that was a foreign movie, it shouldn't have been a thing. Yeah. People didn't even go watch it because it was subtitles of, it was a foreign movie or whatever.
Yeah, because people in America are like, oh, I don't want to read, and it's like, okay, come on, like, yeah. It's a good movie, like, read a little bit, it's not that hard.
It's not that difficult, but the fact that this is an American-made movie focusing on Asian culture is a big deal, because otherwise they're not going to pay attention to it, mm-hmm. because Americans are so self-centered. I
think another thing, in other countries, not just, Asian ones, they're meant, like, in school it is required for them to also learn English as well as their own language. But here, it's like, we have the English classes and everything, and you can take a French class, or you could take a German, or you could take Spanish, but it's not really the big of a deal and whatever. And it's like, we're the only lame-o place that's like, don't worry about anybody else. Think of only yourself and only your culture. And it's like, we're white, what culture? But also, I don't know, I think that should change. But I think it's also a part of, like, once you're older, you don't want to read when you watch Parasite because, you want to hear the English words back at you. But, like, they play, I don't know, Fast and the Furious, they play that in like, Japan. They're either going to have subtitles or they're going to have people speaking Japanese over it. Or they'll have to, just listen to it in English and understand the words because they've learned it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I think I didn't say that very concise and very well, but I think I'm getting my point across.
I think it's across plenty.
Like, people in Japan, they don't get the, special you get to have subtitles or not sort of thing. A lot of times they just know English and watch the movie. But here, we're like, oh, subtitles or nothing. Or, like, English or nothing is what I mean.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. And that's just kind of how we do around here. Mm-hmm. Which is why things like this and things like Black Panther that were so of another culture are a big deal. Because while those cultures are obviously shown in a lot of movies theaters throughout the world, here in the States, you don't see that shit. And that's sucks.
Yeah.
So, favorite character?
Favorite character? Wong. No.
He's a favorite character in every Marvel movie.
Weirdly enough, I really did like Shang.
Yeah?
Shang-Chi.
No, he was good. Like, I think he was a great leading man.
Yeah. I don't think he's my favorite character, though.
I mean, I know who my favorite character is.
My favorite character is either Morris.
Oh, Morris. Fuck.
If you watch the movie, you will find out who and exactly what Morris is, or even just a quick online search. You'll find it. His cutest freaking little guy. But yeah, no, Awkwafina, her character, Katie, is the best.
100% Katie is my favorite character.
Yes.
She, like, don't get me wrong, she didn't steal the show because everyone held their own. Like, they all did a pretty good job of being interesting in their own right. But if at one point they're like, it's we have a new movie for Katie, and she's gonna become a cool kung fu archer, I'll watch the shit out of that.
Yeah. So Awkwafina, I have seen her in this movie, and I was trying to mess with your tablet to remind myself of the movie, but it's another Disney movie, the one that recently came out with the dragons.
Yeah. I can look it up a moment. Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yes. She's in the SpongeBob movie? What the heck? Anyway, sorry.
Everyone makes mistakes. It's okay.
Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has those days. So yes, so she's in Raya and the Last Dragon, and she is the dragon.
Yeah.
And when you see her in that animated film, it's great. It's really good.
It's very fun.
But then you see her act in this one in oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm blanking. When you see her in Shang-Chi, she is basically like the same character, you know? She's really funny, she's really sweet. And I don't know, she just two dragon movies, and she is the star of both.
Heck yeah.
So
yeah, Katie was a lot of fun. Katie's whole character is just like a very talented lady who doesn't put her skills to any real use other than just kind of surviving. Yeah,
being the best valet that like San Diego, Los Angeles, whatever, California, somewhere in California, it is all the same. That California has ever seen the best valet.
Mm-hmm. Shang-Chi also is a pretty good valet, and apparently has hidden his weird martial arts powers for years. And that's really the whole purpose of the show. It's just these two kind of walking through this world of like weird assassins and kung fu magic and all this bullshit. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, well, this wasn't normal. This wasn't our normal a week ago. This is weird. It's just going south. But the other main character is what was her name? There he is.
Sean. It's his sister. What?
I forgot.
It's right there. It's like Xialing.
Xialing. Okay, I forgot how to pronounce it. I'm sorry.
I just thought you didn't know where it was. It was right there.
No, I got it. I just didn't realize. I was just looking at it and thought to myself,
I could be wrong. I very well could be pronouncing it wrong.
I almost certainly will be pronouncing it wrong at some point. But no, I love Xiling. No, I liked her character a lot because one of the major aspects of her character is just a very strong, like, feminist slant on was raised in a very masculine, overpowering sort of community and was not really allowed to do a lot of the same thing that everyone else was doing. But instead, she just kind of watched and was like, I can do that.
Yeah, like she taught herself how to be one of the best fighters.
And it's hella rad. That's cool. Yeah. Plus, she uses a weapon that I've always adored. And I know that the name that I know it by is not its real name. But it's basically just a knife on a rope. And that's fucking cool.
Yeah. And after, after she's been in this crappy situation, she escapes and becomes a powerful woman herself.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she runs a fight club. Like,
not just any fight club, like an underground, meta-human, huge fight club. It is cool. It's a lot of fun. And I'm excited to see with where her character goes at the end, what happens next for her, when she comes back.
Mm-hmm. Is Metahuman DC or Marvel?
That is DC, you're right. I don't fucking know, Superhuman, whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Metahuman. That's from The Flash.
That is DC. Now, in Marvel movies, there's mutants, there's X-Men, specifically mutants or whatever, that's also Inhumans, which are like alien-affected people, and then there's another one.
Yeah, I really appreciate that DC was just like, you know what? Anybody who's kind of weird, let's just call them metahumans because otherwise it gets too complicated.
Yeah, there's almost human, and then there's alien, and then there's human. I can deal with that. But yeah, she runs a super-powered underground fight club, and that's cool. And yeah, the interactions between her brother, and Katie honestly just feel really right. And they all, actors-wise, the actors themselves have really great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple moments throughout the movie where I can't tell if Katie's supposed to be the love interest for Sean or for his sister, and I'm not gonna say which side I lean on. I'm just saying I think I have a preference. I think they all had great chemistry, but I think a couple of them had a better chemistry in certain scenes. But that's just me. I'm not gonna specify.
They all have really great chemistry, and it's like on one hand you want Katie and Xiaoling to be together because they have like this very powerful lady power couple vibe, especially with the sister because I don't know, because she's powerful. She runs this underground fight club, and then like having her date this really dorky kind of quirky, funny valet driver is hilarious to me. But they also just kind of, as the kids say, vibe real well together. Like I think the scene you were talking about is when Aquafina, when Katie is telling her, like, you know, so I'm so sorry you had to like live like this or whatever, and like now you I don't remember the exact conversation, but she's just basically saying like, you are BA, like what you did was awesome, and Xiaolin is kind of like, thanks. Like, and it's a very cute scene that's like they respect each other, but it's also like if you want to put a little more, like sprinkle a little more of your own imagination on there, it could be a little flirty too, in a way. But on the other hand, it's like Sean and Katie have been friends for so long, and you know, it's that stereotypical cute little friendship turns to love sort of story. Right.
And that's the thing. I'm not sure if this might be considered a light spoiler, so light spoiler warning. There is no decisive love interest at the end. Like,
no, there's not.
There's no final kiss before whatever. There's no any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of neat. I mean, I love love interests in movies. I love when there's a character. I love when characters get together, just because I'm like that. And personally, I do think you should make out with your friends. I'm always a proponent of it.
If you haven't made out with your friend, are you really friends?
Exactly. It's almost a necessity.
I have a lot of people I'm not friends with, apparently.
That being said, if they go down the route of just being friends, but they make out, that's fine. But that's not a thing that we're going to see in these movies.
Yeah.
So the fact that they didn't implies, because of what we're working with here, that they remain just as friends, and that's cool. Just because you don't really see that in movies. If it opened with these two characters, and immediately was like, okay, they're gonna.
Yeah, it's like eventually, because like her grandma is like talking to him like, oh, when are you gonna marry my granddaughter? And he's like, we're just friends. We're
not even dating. We're talking about marriage.
Mm-hmm. And so it definitely tries to make you think that, you know, pretty early on, yeah, eventually these two will be together. But I mean, maybe not, because like you said, at the end, nothing has happened, because obviously they've been focused on more important problems, possible world-ending problems, and he doesn't want to think about trying to romance anyone right now, and neither does she, and especially since they're friends, and it'd be complicated, and yeah. But whenever you see the male and female friendship in a movie, it always turns out to end up in love, in like a romantic relationship. Or at some point, you know, they try it and it doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it would be nice to see it just be friends.
Yeah. And if Awkwafina and, if Katie and Xialing, if those characters don't end up together, that's fine too, because whenever the male and female main characters don't get together, it's because one of them's gay.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the de facto go-to. But it'd be neat if they were just like, nah, I just didn't want to.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't have to be gay to not like you. I just don't like you. Like, I don't have to have an excuse. You're my best friend, but I don't romantically love you. Like, that's okay. You are my friend.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that being said, any final bits of interest you want to talk about, or any personally, any thematic bits that you were really interested in? Or just anything you want to say about this lovely movie?
I think people will really enjoy the movie if they give it a chance, and if they are willing to read a little bit in the beginning. I don't know, I keep bringing that up just because I know so many people who have missed out on so many good movies because they're, for lack of better words, lazy. Because they're a little lazy and they don't want to read. And I understand some people can't read, or, you know, don't have the ability to read that fast or that well. But, like, the people who can and then just say, like, oh, I don't want to because I have to read. Come on. Mm-hmm. Come on. But I do think people would really like this movie. It was really fun and had a lot of cool, like, older kung fu looking stuff. Like, I was trying to think of a movie for an example, but I know there's is it Enter the Dragon, or is that Bruce Lee or Jet Li or something? I'm not very well versed in kung fu movies, but it did look very, you know, old fashioned type of kung fu fighting, which was really cool and a little magical, which I'm always down for, especially when there's weird creatures involved. Mm-hmm. If you don't like the movie, it's at least worth it to watch until about middle of it, so you can see the really cool creatures that they find.
Also, on that note, when we were sitting there, a creature shows up on the screen, and a kid behind us yelled, "That's a Pokemon!"
Yes, he did.
Which, in his defense, Ninetales is obviously based on a Kitsune, and that's what that was. But boy, howdy, that
was pretty good.
That got me.
Because he's not wrong.
Yeah, he's not right, but he's not wrong. He's this close.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Some of my favorite parts were the endings. Was in the ending where, you know, there were all of these creatures and like the big fight and the dragon, and so I can't say too much, but yeah, it's my favorite parts are the weird creatures because I just dig that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot.
And
fun.
The cool fighting. I think Shang, his actor, I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. Simolu. If somebody knows how to say it, please let me know. But I feel like he should be the next, like, star. The next big Marvel star, the next big, you know, gosh, I don't know. Just the next big thing, because he was great acting. He was great in the way he fought. I don't know, I just had a really fun time watching the movie, and I'm rambling, and I probably rambled a lot in this episode, so I apologize. I am just having diarrhea of the mouth. So, oh my gosh, you're gonna look up how to pronounce it?
Yeah, just a quick moment. Let's see how to pronounce his name, according to YouTube.
Simu Liu. Simu Liu. Pretty straightforward once you know. Simu.
Okay, so Simu Liu. Cool. But yeah, I think he is really great and should be the next big thing. Like, I mean, there's no more Captain America, there's no more Iron Man. Obviously, they're, you know, not obviously, but I'm assuming they are going to be having replacements.
Well, we know Captain America that they have a replacement.
Yes.
Iron Man, we can assume eventually, but right now, in the comics, their replacement is Ironheart eventually, and then some other people, but I don't know.
But what I'm saying is that he should be the next Iron Man, the next Captain America, as in the next, like, super popular, really great character.
I think even in the world of the Marvel, I think that could also work, like the next core of the team. Yeah. It seems like whatever they're setting up with the ending of this and whatever else they're doing with the Disney TV shows on Disney Plus, it seems like they're setting up a much more magical.
Yeah, especially with the Eternals that is going to be happening soon. Yeah,
more mystical and magical. With even with the Spider-Man trailer that came out, it's going to be very Doctor Strange connected. So it seems as though they're going to create maybe the magical Marvel team, and a character like him would be a really great leader, or if not, you know, centerfold of that team.
Yeah, the heart of the team.
Because it definitely can't be Stephen Strange. No one can possibly like him.
You can like him, but you can acknowledge he's not the heart of the team. No. Maybe he's the brains, but he does not care. Like, all he cares about is looking cool and being powerful. Do you have any last thoughts about the movie?
Yeah, just two things. One, I thought that in terms of, like, a consistent thematic tone, I think this movie did a lot better than a lot of other Marvel movies, to be honest. In that there was always this, the focus of the movie was always the children and their dad, and the fact that they both generations want the same thing, but don't they can see that that we're looking for is not actually the same. Like, they want the same thing, but they understand they need to go in different directions, and it's about kind of overcoming the previous generation, telling them they're wrong and that they need to fix things and all this stuff. And it did it in a way that's about fantasy and magic and monsters and whatever else, without, you know, getting too heavy-handed on that sort of stuff. And it, despite being so large in scale, because at one point the world is in danger, it is still just a very family-oriented, Dad, you're wrong. You really are wrong movie. And I thought that was impressive.
Yeah, very good.
Also, the dad is a good villain.
Yes, he's a good villain in a way that's like, he's not really a villain anymore. Yeah. He's just sad.
he's not. So I'm gonna compare him to, like, Killmonger in that I enjoyed him as a character, because a lot of Marvel villains aren't very memorable.
But this one in Killmonger,
yeah,
of chef's kiss.
I think it's because they both have so much, like, personality to them.
They have heart, because, like, they believe in what they're doing, and it's, like, weirdly for a good cause, and, like, they are trying to do what they think is right, even though it's
it gets a little twisted and fucked up. Killmonger does kind of promote a little bit of world warring.
Yeah,
that's not great.
But I mean, He has a point.
He's not wrong about everything. And that's kind of the feel that you get with this guy too. It's just like he doesn't want like rampant murder or whatever. He's not being the villain. He has a goal and he needs to make it happen for various reasons. And it just felt very human and very real. So yeah, I really enjoyed him. And that's all I got.
All right. Well,
Want to wrap this up?
yeah, I would give the movie a 10 out of 10.
Hell yeah. Solid 10. Maybe we'll watch back in a few months and it'll be like a 9 or an 8. But for now, just off the toes of it, solid 10.
Oh, yeah. 10 out of 10. Go see it at your local theater. Don't stream it.
Yeah.
Don't stream it from Disney. Like, come on.
Watch this one on a big screen because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's better. It's just better to see on a big screen, and also support your local theater instead of the giant the giant titan that is Disney.
I mean, you're already gonna support them anyways, but like, help out the theater.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough of that. How about we wrap this up with a bird fact? I mean, I still haven't found a noise to transition, so I guess that's gonna have to do.
So, pigeons are in a family Columbidae, yes.
Columbus Day.
255 species of pigeons are found in most parts of the world, except for polar and subpolar regions and some oceanic islands. But the main fact you need to know, that everybody should know, is this. So, the young are helpless when first hatch and sparsely covered with a filamentous down. I think I pronounced that wrong. They are fed by both parents for the first few days on pigeon's milk. So when I first read that, I thought...
Pigeon tips.
Pigeon boobies?
Exactly.
But pigeon's milk is a curd-like material secreted by special cells lining the crop. What is the crop, you ask? I don't know.
I think it's the throat.
This is scooped up by the broad, soft bill of the young, inserted deeply into the parent's mouth to obtain the regurgitated material, and gradually it is supplemented by regurgitated food instead of cottage cheese.
Instead of self-made, internalized self-made cottage cheese.
So very strange. I don't know what to say about it. I didn't know pigeon's milk existed.
Yeah, if you see it on the shelf, don't get it. It's disgusting.
Yeah. It's not good. Not good.
Well, what a note to end on.
There you go. Pigeons secrete curd-like milky stuff that their babies eat. Baby pigeons don't start off just eating willy-nilly. They gotta have their milk too.
Gotta get their pigeons milk in. All right, that's it for us, folks. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel for whatever else we've got. What other projects we have going on. There's a D&D actual play going on over there, as well as a Terramaya actual play that is also in conjunction with another podcast that you can watch there. And yeah, all sorts of projects coming down the line. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.
We love you.